you left and you started singing like opera notes, and you were like, oh, like I can't do it. But I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea you could sing like that.
I got tricks.
No,
girl.
you have the most vocal tricks. Like, I don't even know. I almost was tempted to be like, sing some opera into our microphones, but I didn't prepare you for that.
That might be disturbing for listeners.
Hey, everybody, this is Bree Bagwell, and this is my podcast, Only Vans, where I talk to my friends in my van.
Should we open our mocktails? Oh, whiskey.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
That's the best.
Oh, shit.
I think that's fine. Can we just leave that? That's the opening of the Kyle's ready. That was amazing. This van has been through worse. Don't worry. Cheers. By the way, we are having mocktails.
Yes.
So don't worry about us. And Bonnie's face is on this can. And
Isn't that wild? It's a dream come true.
It is a dream come true. And I
How
love that
cheesy
it's
is
a
it that I
mocktail.
brought my own drink for the show with my own face on it?
Nobody has ever brought their own face drink to the podcast, so I'm really thankful for
Whenever
this.
we're going to the river and we have these in the cooler, I'm always like, can I have one of the cans with my face on it?
Yeah. Do you get
Yeah.
well, I love this company, Big Hat. I love them.
Super cool.
We're giving them a free shout out because we love them that much.
Yeah, we are. Because we're drinking their drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, I just met this guy for the first time. I was like, hey, can I get some of those drinks with my face on the can? Like, I've never had one. And it was like a year ago that we made this deal. And I was like, I should probably try one of those and see if they're any good.
They're
They're really good. Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, I had one at Saxon Pub.
Yeah,
They
they're awesome.
have them in the fridge.
They're basically kombucha. It's the same chick the chick that makes these runs I can't remember what the name of the kombucha Cosmic Kombucha.
Oh.
Made in Austin. Yeah, it's the same thing, and then I think they add carbonated water and they put people's faces on the can.
Well, that's fantastic.
Right.
I also drank a Jamie Lynn Wilson and a
How
Django
does she
Walker.
taste?
They all taste fantastic. And if they'd like to sponsor this podcast, we have a deal for them.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited you're here.
Thanks,
Kyle,
me too.
we're ready to go. Okay. Perfect. We're in my van down by the river.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
This is where you always thought you would end up, right?
I've really made it. I have not made it at all.
You have made it. This is actually making it. Yeah,
Is
you got to
it?
redefine making it and accept that this is it.
Well, we just had like this awesome talk right before where I was like, every day I'm like, what am I doing
with
wrong?
my life? I know, right?
And you were like, this is how it's always going to be.
I was like, this is the question I've been asking for 20 years. Yeah, what did I do? Who doesn't like me that made me end up in this spot?
Or am I just like no good and nobody told me?
Right, but somebody please just tell me. I mean, I can do something. I mean, I can't do anything else, but I'm going to keep doing this, but it'd be good to know.
To know if I just suck or something. Oh, she's crying.
Yeah.
I just had this total, I almost said spark plug moment. That's wrong because my truck needs new spark plugs. This light bulb moment. Remember when we were almost going to live together?
Oh my God.
I forgot about it until this exact moment.
Wait, which point was this? Well, this was before you were going to live on your friend Tiffany's property in a trailer. That was one idea.
In a tiny house. That
in a
didn't
tiny house.
happen
Right.
either.
Was this when I was moving back to Texas?
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out where I was going to live?
Yes. So
we did talk about getting a place in
we
Wimberley.
signed a lease in Dripping Springs.
We did.
Let me remind you.
I
because you're
forgot
loud.
about that house was really cool.
Okay, I just thought about this, and I think we both blocked it out of our memory because how frustrating, because you were in a U-Haul driving back from Nashville.
That's right.
And I had already told my apartment I was moving out.
That's
so I had nowhere to
right.
go, and they had already rented out my apartment.
And the guy that was renting us the house decided not to rent it out. He decided to sell it.
It was like right when the Austin market was getting like hot, but he should have, if he would have waited like 2 or 3 more years, he would have really.
Oh yeah, totally. So that was that would have been 2017. It was a really cool house. It was on like 5 acres. It had chicken coops.
And you were bringing your piano.
Yes.
In a U-Haul.
I totally forgot. We signed a lease.
Yeah, we signed a lease, and it just like I forgot about it too because it was such a traumatic time because I ended up moving everything into a storage unit, and so did you. And
That's
I ended
right.
up living out of a storage unit basically and gypsying around for 9 months.
I've done that multiple times in my career.
Yeah, it's really fun for a while, but then
It's like, oh, I have no bills. This is so great. I can go anywhere I want. I'll just stay on tour. And then it's like you come back from being in a van for 3 weeks. It's like nowhere to
I remember when I moved into my apartment and I got like a fork, a stamp, and like I printed something. And I started crying because those are 3 things that you can't do
in a van.
Yeah, like you can't just go get a fork.
Yeah, right.
Print something.
Or when you're staying at someone's house for free, you can't like spread out and like shit all over their couch, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You can't do that anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you can.
That's so wild. I wish that had worked out.
I know, because we would have been roomies.
We would have had so much fun. We did that on a whim, but we went and found a really cool place. Like,
well, you found it.
Did I? My
Yeah.
mom probably found it.
Okay.
She's found almost every house I've ever lived in.
Well, whoever found it, and then I went and looked at it without you and said yes, and it was actually Ryan Bingham's fiddle player at the
That's
time.
right. That's
And
right.
Ryan Bingham's doing really well. Do you think he could give us some like reparations for that emotional?
I think we should get some emotional reparations for that. It was really traumatic.
It was
What's
so
more traumatic is that I think I ended up moving somewhere else and dating somebody else because I didn't live with you. I ended up meeting someone, and then I lost like years of my life, all because we didn't sign the lease
Okay.
on that house.
So he needs to tack on
That
some.
guy needs to pay up.
He
man.
needs to pay up.
He owes me years of my life.
I just had this idea of like, oh my gosh, we're gonna be just like writing partners and best friends, and then you're a professional chef, so I was just gonna have the best.
I was gonna feed you.
It was gonna be the best years of my life. I knew it, and then that rug just got pulled from me.
I totally forgot about that until you said
Yeah,
it. Do you
I know.
remember that night we played at the winery outside College Station?
Yep.
You said I left. I'm having a memory of what happened, but you tell me what you remember.
My favorite part of the night, because I was like, my voice was shot by that point. You left and you started singing like opera notes, and you were like, oh, like I can't do it. But I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea you could sing like that. You have vocal tricks.
I got tricks.
No,
girl.
you have the most vocal tricks. Like, I don't even know. I almost was tempted to be like, sing some opera into our microphones, but I didn't prepare you for that.
That might be disturbing for listeners.
You can sing like, because I feel like my voice is like 20 years of whiskey and yelling and bars. And
Oh,
like
my
yours,
voice
but
is 20
yours-
years of whiskey too. There was just a little bit more of a like classical training before the whiskey.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you talk like, and then you can sing also like you never had that. Like it's so wild. Like I've never heard anybody like at 3 a.m. sing an opera moment, and I was just like
I must have been warmed up.
jaw drop on the floor. It was the best.
I was remembering that I was supposed to be staying at my friend Barbara's family's cabin after that gig. And I left the gig. This is in my drinking days. And I left the gig and we couldn't find it. We drove around for like an hour trying to find the cabin. So I came back to the winery and it was all locked up. All the gates were closed. And so I had to climb the gate, like scale the gate. I used my van. I pulled it up to the gate and I climbed on top of my van and I climbed the gate. And then I ended up sleeping on like the floor in the green room, like because I couldn't
Oh
find anywhere
no,
else to
Tiffany is
sleep.
gonna love this story. My best friend Tiffany, because they sold it, and it was some of my favorite memories were there.
Oh,
Like
that was a good
some of
time.
my favorite memories. I mean, like I used to go when I was in college. I went to watch you. This was when I first started playing music, my senior year in college, which was crazy because like you're and
You
I
came to see me play when you were in
I
college?
came to see you play, and I went to Saxon Pub by myself in the back, and you came after your show. It was just you and a piano, and I remember thinking like, I can't do music full time because I'm gonna have to get a lot better because you were just like killing it. And you came behind like to the edge of the bar at Saxon, and Robert Earl Keen was with you.
Was he?
Yeah, and
Just
I was
watching the show?
and I was like, you are the coolest person I've ever. And I was just sitting there like acting like I was cool with my like Diet Coke or whatever I was
You are
drinking.
cool.
'cause I
And look
didn't-
at you now.
and now we're in the
Look
same
who's on
van.
whose show now.
I trapped you in my van.
Yeah.
That's creepy, actually, I think.
That's
But
wild. I do remember when you were first coming up in Austin because I was like, who's this other BB?
double B's. We have so much in common.
I
Double
know.
B's. We
Our
both
names.
have little dogs.
We're both little
We're
dogs.
both amazing
We both
cooks.
sing. Are you a cook?
No,
Oh,
that was
okay. That was a lie.
In my mind, I'm getting a lot better. During COVID, I got a lot better. So did Paul. But I'm not like catering level like you.
Well, I'm not catering right now, but I did cater for a minute.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Brie Bagwell, and if you want to sponsor this amazing podcast, all you have to do is email onlyvanspodcast@gmail.com.
I was a private chef during the COVID.
That's amazing.
Uh-huh.
Did you sing?
I don't think
while
they
you
liked
cooked?
my food because I got fired after like 9 months.
No, that's a long. If someone doesn't like your food, you get fired after like 9
Maybe
hours.
after a week or something. Yeah. I charged a lot of money because it's hard to ever do anything else for a living when you've played music for so long. Because I was like, wow, our jobs are actually a lot easier than I thought they were. Right? Because we always complain about how hard it is and all the hours we work that we don't get paid and we drive and all this, 22 and a half hours prep for a 90-minute show or whatever.
Yep.
But then when I was cooking for this family, it was a family of 4, but they were 3 different diets. So you had a diabetic, you had a vegetarian, and then you had 2 meat eaters who wanted like pie and like jalapeno poppers and like, so, but I was getting up, and I do everything from scratch, and this is a mistake because this is part of why I got fired. They wanted more stuff made with Velveeta and canned food. And I made all my own chicken broth. I made everything from scratch and made my own tortillas, made my own pie crusts, like all that stuff. And so
quit talking dirty to me like that on this podcast.
Spicing it up. But anyways, yeah, I was on my feet, like working that job for like 8 to 10 hours a day. And I was like, holy hell, this is hard.
Yeah.
Chefs have it hard. That's why chefs have cocaine problems, I've realized.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, apparently like that's a big thing in the cooking industry is that like, because my chef friends have all said, don't ever own a restaurant. You'll be the first person there every day and the last person there every night. You'll get 4 hours of sleep and you'll have a coke problem because it's the only way to like do your job to run a restaurant. Because you're still, even though you're the chef, you're still in charge of everything, right? Like the menu and like the way everything goes. And anyways, I kind of lived out my dream of doing something else for a living, during COVID. And I did like it. I love to serve people. I found that out about myself. I didn't know that because I'm so selfish. Like, who would have thought I like to serve people?
We're all a little selfish as artists.
But like, I like to curate events. Like, nothing makes me happier than I'm going to have a table full of people and I'm going to make them a great meal. And they're not paying for it, so they're just showing up and they're going to like whatever I make, right? And not like, I don't want to cook to order, but like, I just like having people over and having like interesting conversations around food. And so I like to create that environment for people. And so I do love to cook still, but my dream of opening a restaurant or having a catering business is out the window now.
Well, it's kind of just like music. It's like if you could just be creative or if you could just sing or whatever, it's all the other stuff that comes with it that kind
it's
of gets...
booking the shows.
Yeah,
doing the logistics, marketing. I hate marketing. Hate it.
What are we now? We're like marketing, PR,
you
video
said it earlier,
editors.
like, I don't even know what my job is anymore.
I don't. Am I a singer?
I sing less than I do all the other things put together. Yeah.
The 90 minutes on stage is like the easiest thing that I do.
Right. And it's hard to even enjoy it because of everything it's taken to get to that 90 minutes. You're like,
I'm like,
tired.
Kyle, are you taking
in a horrible mood
video footage of this for my TikTok later? And it's like, no, I should just be enjoying the show. Do you warm up your voice? I'm switching.
A little. I do. Yeah, I do warm up my voice. I actually do some of my opera stuff like...
Yeah.
I do that and I do like scales and then I do it with that.
Ooh, I don't do that one.
Yeah, those are great because when you are putting all your concentration into like getting the air through and keeping your lips moving in that, then it's reminding your voice like, we don't need you. Like all these muscles in here, we don't need you to sing. Which, my voice teachers growing up would be horrified if they saw what I did now, like the way I sang. But they would always be like, see that singer with the veins coming out in her neck? Like, that means they're doing it wrong. That means there's vocal damage, right? Or anybody with a rasp or a cool voice basically has a damaged voice. That's what they would always talk about. But
right.
Character
I know that
is damage.
Very interesting. That whole thing. But when I had a voice coach for a second, when you're on TV shows, they give you like a free voice coach,
Did you do a TV show?
I did like The Voice and I did...
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I made it to the blind auditions and no one turned around. And then Blake was like, you're better than that song. And I was like, well, I didn't choose this song. And then they didn't air my audition. Go figure. So I was like, okay.
You said, well, your crew chose it for me.
Right. But she said that I don't really sing as wrong as I talk. I talk very wrong because I talk really low and forceful and da-da-da. And that can be like
Yeah.
way worse than
I went, there were a few years ago, I guess I was in my early 30s when I was going through this thing on the road where nothing was coming out. It was like everything hurt. It always hurt. And so I told my band, I was like, it's y'all's fault. Y'all are too loud.
Right.
And I'm having to scream over you every night. And so then I was like trying to sing all my songs like this. And it was like just trying to just keep going. And it was like everything was making me lose my voice. So I went to see a voice coach in Nashville. There's a really great vocal clinic in Nashville because anybody who makes a living in the music industry essentially loses their voice.
Yeah.
So I went to see this coach, and it was the same thing. Well, they had that thing where they stuck like the camera down my throat, and they looked to see if I had nodes, right? Like the ultimate killer, they say. But I didn't. I had small beginnings of nodes, but they didn't send me to a voice teacher. They sent me to a speech. I guess is it a speech pathologist?
Yeah.
Or a speech? Yeah.
Something like that.
So I went to this lady, and she taught me how to talk.
Yeah.
Same thing, because I talk really loud or whatever.
Low and loud.
And
you're supposed to talk up here. And like, yeah.
That hurts.
And you're like yelling over people. So like after COVID, I was losing my voice again, which hasn't happened in a long time.
Right.
But it was because I was so out of practice, but it was not from singing. It was from chatting with
Right.
the people afterwards. So I stopped doing that, and I immediately got like the worst backlash, and people, oh, you've got too big for your britches and all this stuff. And I was like, no, I literally can't do my job.
I can't come talk to you outside. Yeah. Same.
And it sounds so dramatic, but it's like, and actually too, male vocal cords are built different than female vocal cords.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
I think that that's true. Don't go. I really think
like that
that's
theory.
true. Like it's like a muscle. So
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like Paul doesn't lose his voice as often, or I
Maybe
talked
he's
to like
just not
Courtney and
as
Jason.
loud.
Like they don't lose their voice.
Huh.
Like Courtney loses hers more than Jason. Like I
Interesting.
think that there's something about just it is a muscle, and it's kind of the same. And you're supposed to cool down. That's a big thing. I don't ever do that.
I didn't know that either.
It's like you're not supposed to just
Like warm outs instead of warm ups,
Yeah.
warm downs.
I don't know exactly how they would go, but like, yeah, dun dun dun,
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know, but it is very. It's just such a weird thing, and I love talking to like other singers about it because you feel so crazy,
Right.
And when you lose your voice, then you're stressed out. I mean, if I have a day where my voice doesn't feel at least 80% or above, I'm stressed out the whole day, and I can't sleep or be my normal self.
If you know you have a show coming up and it's like everything hurts,
Everything hurts.
like it's not gonna be there. I'm gonna go to the mic. It's not gonna be there, but it is always there. Like
When you sing, though, you sing with such great dynamics, and I'm always wondering how you do it, like especially with monitors, because you can you just sing so dynamically, and it's really fascinating to watch. Like I think Key West. I mean, I know that people will tell me stuff about shows that I don't process the same way or whatever, but your Key West show was like one of my favorite shows ever. It was so good.
thank you.
We were all crying the whole time. You sang so great. Your band was so great. Harmony, Kelly on bass, and I mean,
Just
and you had
killer.
Foy there, which
Yep.
was super cool.
Yep.
There was like a trombone at one point.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Your band is great. It was just a great show.
Thank you.
It was really good.
You know, it's interesting you bring up Foy because he's been one of my musical idols since like 2010. That's how long I've been listening to him, and I feel like from listening to his records, I was like, wow, the power isn't in being loud. The power is in being quiet.
Yeah.
Because he has an incredible instrument, and I'm not just saying that because he's my boyfriend. Like he's incredible. He is like it's like a God thing. Like when I hear his voice, like the very first time I heard his record, I was like, who is that? Like who is that angel? And he has the ability, to do that big, cool, like Sam Cooke, like Ray Charles, like bluesy thing, and then he flips into this incredible falsetto, like 14-year-old boy sounding head voice. And but I learned a lot from listening to his records because his power is in the quiet. And before I ever even got to be friends with him, I was already like kind of entertaining that. And I feel like I've gone more that direction since I've been with him because, it's really, it's so fun to hold an audience in your hand, like, and they love to hear you get big and like do the big raucous stuff, like the big rockin' stuff. They love that. But as an audience member, you also know when you go to a show, like your ears get worn out.
Yeah.
like, this is so rude of me, but I go to shows now and it's like I can't be there for more than like 3 or 4 songs. I just I'm not saying your shows, I'm saying everybody's shows. Like, even if I'm opening for somebody and we're doing a whole tour, it's like I don't stand there side stage and listen to my favorite artist for an hour and a half. I can't do it. Like, my ears get worn out. And I don't know if that's just because I have, if I'm ADD or something like that, but I think about that when I'm on stage. Like, these people have come here and they're trusting me with their ears. And so I could try to impress them and show them how loud I am all night. But like, they need to take a ride, not just sonically, but emotionally, taking them on that ride. And so,
oh, you totally do that. Oh, it's fine.
Oh, your avocados.
Oh my guys, there's no alcohol in this beverage. No, I was gonna check the time because I know you have to go soon. But I just am just really happy you're here, and your voice is so special and your show is so special, and I hope that everyone that gets a chance to see you live will do it, especially artists, because you really have a way with, like, and even your records too. You're not like, you can blow it out of the water, but you do use your, I know I've said Dynamics. Can you Google,
Dynamic.
Kyle,
Can we
Google
be sponsored
synonyms
by
for
Dynamics? We're
Dynamics?
sponsored by Dynamics.
This is brought to you
by Dynamics.
By synonyms.com, because that's what I need to be right here for me. Anyway, you're just so great, and I'm so
Thanks,
glad you
Bree.
sat here. My dog wants to say goodbye to you.
Whiskey, come see me.
And she really likes Bonnie. She got so excited when you're here.
I like the babies.
And we love you, and I know you're going to dinner, so thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, and I'm proud of you, because it's a hard business. Whether you're a male or a female, it's a hard business, but it really kicks your ass when you're a female.
Oh yeah.
And when I started in this business, there were 3 of us essentially. It was me, Kelly Willis, and Pauline Reese.
That's right.
And it's just really cool to me. I'm about a decade older than you, but coming back from Nashville and seeing like this whole, like a dozen young girls like your age that had come up and like done the thing and written songs and learned to play instruments and booked your own shows and driven yourself around. And I just think it's awesome.
And now it's like 50 young girls. I mean, I'm meeting new ones all the time. I mean, it's like, and they'll say, you're the reason I'm doing this. And I'm like, well, it was you and Kelly and Pauline, like you said. And then like Kristen Kelly and like Charla kind of started coming into things, and it was so weird because we were kind of the only ones, and now it's completely changed. Not to say that we're trailblazers, we were like the reason for a genre, but you were a lot of my reason. So good for you.
I love it, and I appreciate that.
And can you just say like $2.99 steak and eggs on
$2.99 steak and eggs on Thursday?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Onlyvoice.com. That's instead of OnlyFans, we're gonna do Onlyvoice.com.
Sponsored by Dynamics.
I love it. You good, Kaya? Thank you. I love you.
I love you back. That was fun.
Great.
I just want to say